a good question on this. Do you think that judges like it when you settle at mediation?
Yeah, they want you to settle.
They do.
They do. They encourage it highly.
Yeah.
I'll
I
put
mean,
it that
we
way.
were just in a trial yesterday,
Mhm,
and the judge, they settled on the courthouse steps basically.
mhm.
And the judge said that was basically kind of like, thank you for settling. So that way a third party person who doesn't know you is making a decision.
Yeah, they get to know you in one day, and they don't know you.
They
They don't know
don't.
your life. They don't know your needs.
Also, you don't
So
know what's going on in their headspace during that day, right?
or how they might feel about
Yeah.
something, right? They may have a particularly intense feeling about something. And again, this has happened, and I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but what if I had a case where my opposing party, um, it seemed very clear by the timeline that she used my client, the husband, for papers to become an American citizen. And if you asked him today, he would say no. But it was clear by the timeline. So I made sure to elicit that timeline
Yep.
and put it in the reasoning. And I think that pissed off the judge. And I think that swayed him towards something that he had a lot of judicial discretion on. He could have found it, either way. If he thought it was one thing or he thought it was another, I think that he had some very reasonable judicial discretion to have made a decision specific to this, right? This specific, probably $250,000
Wow.
my client's benefit decision, and he decided in favor of my client. I think because it made him feel some type of way, that it seemed as though my client, and again, it's a no fault divorce state, so the fact that she did this maybe isn't at fault, but it was like really skating a line on whether this asset could be considered non-marital or marital because of how close to the marriage it was purchased. But her, like, lack of contribution and the timeline just matching up so perfectly with her getting her green card, um, and the judge didn't say this. I just think it. So the judge did not base his decision on this. I have no evidence of that. It's my suspicion. But I think that might have upset him that this person seemed like they were being used. And again, my client would have stayed with her.
Yeah.
He asked that before we went to mediation.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and, she moved to another state a year and a half before the divorce, right? And then came back for a period of time immediately before her citizenship, and then somehow got in a fight 2 weeks later after
Yeah.
her citizenship was stamped, 2 weeks later, and
left.
went back to the other state, right?
I think that one thing I would like to preference and is that, how, or at least that I'm finding the more that, I'm doing way more mediations and being trained under you and stuff is like, I think that we become very prepared to our mediations compared to some other opposing counsels. Like, for example, I have a mediation tomorrow and I already have my equitable distribution worksheet prepared. I have a proposed parenting plan drafted. I have a proposed mediated settlement agreement, and I have a alimony proposal ready. Like, I am ready to go.
And our clients are prepared with this
as well.
information
We
and
go-
knowledgeable.
Yeah, we go through with them. We have a prep meeting that's a whole hour.
Yeah.
We go through it. We figure out, okay, what do you want? What do we want to offer? We let them know if we think that's reasonable. Is it not reasonable? So that way, when mediation starts, we're not wasting your time and fees. We are ready to go with a proposal.
Right.
Or prepared for, like, okay, this is where we're at, compared to where, I've seen where people go to mediation, they just start there. That could take 3-4 hours sometimes.
Or I've had plenty of mediations where the person on the other side is like, I'm not emotionally ready to make this decision. I'm like, what? Because you don't get into mediation right away. This process doesn't move relatively that fast. As far as your timeline go, you can expect to go to mediation 3-4 months after.
I was gonna say 3-4 months, maybe.
That's expected. That's soon. That's getting it done reasonably because we have to try to get this mandatory disclosure in. So, and again, I think that's what really sets our firm apart when preparing our clients for mediation is that we have these real conversations. This is what's accomplishable. Also, we remind them, hey, think about what would actually get us to an agreement because the process is confidential.
Absolutely. Also, I think like I said, I already know I said it was just, it kind of saves times, attorney's fees. And then, like you were saying, it mentally prepares you. Like, what are we going to speak about? This is what it's going to be about. This is the emotions that are going to come up when we talk about these things.
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
it can be emotional, right? So if you ever need to take a second, we obviously let you do that, right? Also, what I also love that Attorney Morse taught me is like, we don't let the opposing party like bully us. Like, if we think they're wasting our time, you'll
I shut
cut
it
it
down.
off.
I shut it
We
down
shut
real
it off. Like,
early.
that's it. And I've had to use it a few times, and magically, we get an agreement.
Yeah, well, sometimes you're just like, "You know what?
You're
Forget it.
wasting my
Forget it."
time.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
once they realize, like, oh, okay, wait, because they
right.
want to see how far along they can take us.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So, if you had to